Il-2 Sturmovik. The Il-2 Sturmovik was a legendary aircraft, not only for its true iconic nature, but for its alias, the number built and even its legacy post-war. The Il-2 Sturmovik was a Soviet ground attack plane, built in huge numbers to stop the Nazi horde on the Eastern Front. Designed by the Aviation Bureau, famous for their modern-day cargo planes, and built by many different factories. The Sturmovik was notoriously said to be as essential to the Red Army as air and bread, by the great Joseph Stalin, when visiting a factory behind on production. The Sturmovik was known as the flying tank, flying infantryman, or the hunchback. But why? Why was such an unremarkable aircraft have so many aliases, was so well and used past the war's end? The Sturmovik was a plane mass-produced to a huge extent, exceeding 3,600 frames constructed from multiple factories, including state aviation factories. The plane designed to be less complicated than its competitors, notably the Stuka. This allowed easier mass production, shown in the sheer number of frames built. The nickname Flying Infantryman likely came from the scale of production. It was so common, like an infantryman, who was the backbone of any military throughout all ages. The Il-2 had many aliases, notably the flying tank, due to its extreme survivability. A notable design feature of the Sturmovik was the armored shell, protecting the pilot, engine, and radiator, all the essential parts of a plane. The Il-2 was nearly rejected from military service, due to its incredible weight. The huge 4,700 kilograms, 10-400 IB plane was nearly rejected from military service due to its sheer weight. A large part of this, 15% or 705 kilograms/1560 IB of the plane, was its armored carapace. This led to the popular alias of flying tank. It was as indestructible as its namesake, and hunchback, it was as ungainly as a hunchback in the air. The Il-2 was used long after the war's end. A Russian friend of mine told me that they were used to transport grain post-war, as there was a lack of commercial aircraft, and it seemed useless to leave Il-2s rotting. I can't verify this, but it seems reasonable. The Il-2 wasn't incredibly effective, unfortunately. This was mainly due to its weight. Its engine was already stretched with powering the aircraft itself, meaning that heavy munitions couldn't be carried. The Sturmovik also was notably inaccurate, especially with bombs. This meant that to any entrenched targets, the Il-2 was more a psychological threat than a real one. The Sturmovik was adapted into many different planes, but with much less success. Famously, NATO gave the Il-2 the callsign Bark, potentially referring to its strength as a psychological weapon more than a physical one. Beware the dog that doesn't bark.